Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for coming out tonight to Society Hall. We have just a great show for you tonight. Carin Mari, she is a fantastic singer-songwriter. I know you're going to enjoy it. The only other thing I want to say before we start, next Saturday we have Mike Blakely here, and also it's the 100th birthday of Society Hall. Well, the building at least, anyway. So that's something else we're going to be celebrating more of later this year. But with nothing more, let's give a nice, warm San Luis Valley welcome for Carin Mari.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pete. Is my guitar going to turn on here? Step number 1. I didn't plug it in earlier, and that was the problem. But thank you so much for coming out this evening. This is, I think, my third performance at Society Hall, and I'm so glad to see new faces and some familiar faces. So just for my own curiosity, how many of you are seeing me for the very first time tonight? Oh, most of you. So that means my jokes will be funny to you. Of course, this is not funny. This did this to me last night, too. My parents are here. That's probably why. I can't be perfect for them. I'll try that. Well, I'll be loving when you're hating, acting while you're waiting, singing when you're lost for words. And I'll be laughing when you're crying, speaking when you're lying, when you're quiet, my voice will be heard. So goodbye, darling. Well, can't you tell I think you do well. Well, goodbye, baby. Be on your way, 'cause you and I are night and day. Well, I'll be running when you're walking, moving when you're stopping, driving 80 when you're out of gas. And I'll be shining when you're fading, floating while you're waiting. When you're sinking, I'll be sailing the waves. So goodbye, darling. Well, can't you tell I think you do well. Well, goodbye, baby. Be on your way, 'cause you and I are night and day. Well, I'll be dancing when you're sitting, living while you're wishing, jumping when you're stuck on the ledge. And I'll be flying when you're crawling. I won't answer when you're calling. I won't look back 'cause there's nothing to see. So goodbye, darling. Well, can't you tell well, I sure wish you well. Well, goodbye, baby. Be on your way, 'cause you and I are night and day. Oh, yes, you and I are night and day. Ooh, thank you so much. Just a special thank you also to the fine folks here at Society Hall, Pete, Ruthie, our wonderful video tech and sound guy, because without them the show would not happen. And hello to all the people in Facebook land. I know they're doing a live stream, which is new to me because I'm used to playing regular concerts, but now with the way the world has changed, we get to reach more people this way, which is pretty neat. And of course, I brought my own fans. My family and I live over in Buena Vista, so we are not too far. And so I invited my parents to come tonight because normally I'm too far away, and so we made this a family affair. With that being said, it's probably the last show they'll come to for a little while at least. One's enough, right? There's a young man that I know whose age is 21. He comes from down in southern Colorado, just out of the service. He's looking for his fun someday soon. I'm going with him someday soon. And my parents cannot stand him 'cause he rides the rodeo. My father says that he will leave me crying, but I would follow him right down the roughest road I know someday soon. I'm going with him someday soon. When he comes to come, my boy got a good word to say. Well, I guess it's 'cause he was just as wild in his younger days. Blow you old blue northern, blow my love to me. He's driving in tonight from California. He loves his dang old rodeo as much as he loves me someday soon. I'm going with him someday soon. I'm gonna ask my wonderful roadie father if you will please get my other guitar out of the bag. Thank you. When he comes to come, my boy got a good word to say. Well, I guess it's 'cause he was just as wild in his younger days. So blow you old blue northern, blow my love to me. He's driving in tonight from California. He loves his dang old rodeo as much as he loves me someday soon. I'm going with him someday soon. Oh, someday soon. I'm going with him someday soon. We'll see if this one goes a little better. Did I mention how thankful I am my parents came with me tonight? Truth of the matter is usually they stay home and take care of my dogs and my horse and my cat. But I finally found a guy who's responsible enough to take care of them while we're gone. This has worked out much better. We'll tune it up really quick, but that sounds like it's going to be better. Is that better for Mr. Soundman back there? It wouldn't be a live show if we didn't have a hiccup or two, right? I also have some very special friends that are here tonight that I had no idea were coming to surprise me. And this is a special request for Mel and my good friend Worm. And yes, you heard me correctly. That is not a blip. His name is Worm. And this is one of her favorite songs. And since you came all this way, I'm happy to play this for you. And this came about many years ago, mainly because I needed to write a love song. I didn't have one. And so I realized I needed one of everything. And so I thought, well, I don't have much love experience to draw from. So I thought about what I think love should be like. And I realized that it should feel like coming home, because that's where I feel the most loved. Well, hey, darling, what's your name? You're like the mountain air, and I like the change. You came to me on a summer breeze. I know you don't know me, but I think we're meant to be. Well, hey, darling, let's take a walk down by the river. We can stop and talk about how you and I could be. It seems like a long shot, but worth the long journey. Take my hand and start our dance across this narrow road of chance. Who really knows what will be, will be. You're already home to me. Well, hey, darling, don't be shy. I will never hang you on the line to dry. 'Cause you and I, we're made to be strong. And if you're ever weak, I will carry you along. Well, hey, darling, I'll be yours. You make me want to live and be more. Just make my heart laugh and make me smile. I will be your girl forever and a little while. Take my hand and start our dance across this narrow road of chance. Who really knows what will be, will be. You're already home to me. Well, hey, darling, together let's go. Get lost down the dirt road to us paved in gold. One step, one breath, one day at a time. As long as I am yours, honey, you will always be mine. Take my hand and start our dance across this narrow road of chance. Who really knows what will be, will be. You're already home to me. Already home to me. Already home to me. Robert, if you would not mind, would you please turn my guitar up just a hair in my monitor? Well, as we all know, 2020 was kind of a rough year, and things changed drastically. I myself had an entire year of shows lined up and ready to go, and I was so excited, and then I started getting all the phone calls that everything was getting canceled. And so that took a little bit of an adjustment period, and I got a little sad and then mopey about it, because what am I going to do without having my music career? I've been doing this for many, many years, and all of a sudden, there was nothing. I didn't have to be anywhere. So I got over my sadness fairly quickly and realized I was about to have the best summer of my life, because I got to live and I got to do all the things that I'd been missing. And so I spent the entire summer hiking and kayaking and horseback riding and basically anything that my heart was calling me to do, I went and made it happen. And then I thought, well, maybe I should be a little more productive with my time. And so I started writing songs every day. And this was the first of the series, and I think it came from simply missing the road and doing whatever it is that I wanted. Well, I spend some time just moving around, and I'm not sure why, and I don't know how. But walking along unsteady ground, knowing I might go up and I might fall down. Ooh, 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 thought it'd be fun just to roam in the towns, looking for something I haven't found. Living my life a bit too loud. Half the time I don't make a sound. Ooh, 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 thought I may find a little spot when I made it up the mountain top, to take a deep breath, see what I've got. A bit of a hard climb, it won't make me stop. Ooh, 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 time's going by and I don't have the time to try and slow it down. Sometimes I wonder why deep inside, and if I'll make it out. Ooh, 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 spend my days doing my best, even though sometimes it's the Wild West. I don't think of myself any less when I'm standing up, or I'm a walking mess. Ooh, 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 Well, thank you so much. So for many years, I traveled around the country in a 2000 Dodge Durango. And at the end of 2019, I realized it was time to retire this poor car, because it had 230-some thousand miles on it. And it had a really bad shake anytime you hit the brakes. And honestly, it was getting too expensive buying duct tape every time I had a road trip. But I have learned that duct tape will fix everything for a little while. And so I made the decision to retire the Dodge, and I was going to buy a new vehicle for my big year of touring in 2020. I tell you, though, that the vehicle has low miles now. But I decided that I was going to buy a Dodge. I didn't care what it was, but some kind of a Dodge vehicle, because my dad is a Dodge man. He's got a first-gen Dodge pickup that my brothers and I all learned to drive in. And my car took me all across the United States and only left me stranded one time. And so I grew pretty attached to those vehicles, and so when we retired them, I thought, well, I'm about to write the most country song I have ever written, and it's going to be about a truck. And so I was out vehicle shopping, and I drove every Dodge they made, and I guess it's a Ram now, so I drove every Ram they made. I drove everything I could, and I finally found the perfect vehicle, and it is a 2018 Chevy Silverado, which requires no duct tape and has heated seats, so life is pretty good these days. And I'm thinking maybe someday Ram will hear this and they'll want to make a commemorative video of Dodge, and they'll buy it from me, and they'll just give me a Dodge pickup, and if they don't want to do that, then well, I'll sell it to Ford or Chevy or who else thinks it's a good idea. Well, I grew up in that old truck, chasing my dreams and making love. Took me high as I could go. The secrets were made, the blacktop opens. When that old Dodge was new to me, took me to places I'd never seen. 100,000 miles of memories. When that old Dodge was new to me, fell in love for the first time when I first crossed that county line. Chased the white lines coast to coast, and never failed to bring me home. When that old Dodge was new to me, took me to places I'd never seen. 200,000 miles memories. When that old Dodge was new to me, not too much to look at now, parked behind this old house. Doesn't shine like I once knew, but she drives just fine and she still runs true. When that old Dodge was new to me, took me to places I'd never seen. 300,000 miles of memories. When that old Dodge was new to me. Oh, some would say a piece of steel could never steal your heart, but for me it set me free. Never would have got this far. But when that old Dodge was new to me, took me to places I'd never seen. 400,000 miles of memories. When that old Dodge was new to me. When that old Dodge was new to me. I do have to say the Chevy drive is very smooth. So during the pandemic, I guess I was one of the lucky people that went into it dating someone, because we realized it was pretty difficult to meet anybody new when you're supposed to stay at home all the time. So I went into all of this with a boyfriend, and gosh, towards the end of it, I realized that maybe he was not the right guy. And I thought maybe I should just go ahead and break up with him. And so I did, and then realized that the pandemic was not over. And so that was really really kind of a dumb thing to do. And so I thought for a brief moment that maybe I could rekindle this and maybe we could make it work. And then I thought about it a little more, and I decided to write this song instead. Spend my days wondering how I went astray, waiting for you to come back and love me someday. I know you don't wanna be with me, and yet I'm still holding on to an unhappy dream. Why do I try anymore? Why do I keep wanting more? Why do I wait by the door you won't walk in? Why am I starting this over again? I wish I would have just walked on by, and then I'd be doing fine, and I'd dying inside. Now I'm here, wishing that I was there. And even though you don't care, my heart's in despair. Why do I try anymore? Why do I keep wanting more? Why do I wait by the door you won't walk in? Why am I starting this over again? La-di-da-la-la-la-dum. La-di-da-la-la-la-dum. La-da-da-dum. La-da-dum. La-da-da-bum. Why do I try anymore? Why do I keep wanting more? Why do I wait by the door you won't walk in? Why am I starting this over again? Thank you so much. So sometimes I get in moods, and sometimes I don't know what kind of mood I'm in. It's not really good and it's not really bad, but I think that's what makes for interesting songs. And this one in particular is very moody. And I remember when I wrote it, because I didn't want to write it about any one particular person, because it's kind of mean to write a song about somebody, especially when they break your heart. So I thought, well, maybe I should write a song about all of them. and they won't be able to know. And so I kind of combined a lot of my heartbreak and not really my heartbreaks, and because I've had a few experiences over the years where I've gone out with somebody for maybe 2 weeks, 2 dates, and at the end of it I've realized that maybe this is not quite the right person for me, but they have somehow fallen madly in love and they can't imagine life without me. And that's when I break it to them that it's only been 2 weeks and I don't think you love me as much as you think you might. And so it turns out if you do write a song for them, they don't come back. So well, 1,000 miles have come and gone, still don't know what road I'm on. I can't get this car to move fast enough so I can lose you. Why can't you leave me alone? Being with you means on my own. The words you and I just don't belong. Treat me like your love dead and gone. One more stop for a tank of gas, leaving fumes like memories in the past. Not wasting time, sitting here too long. I'll see the red dirt before the dawn. Why can't you leave me alone? Being with you means on my own. The words you and I just don't belong. Treat me like your love dead and gone. Another town in a different state, tracks I continue to make. Another stranger looking at me wrong. I am tired but I go on. Northern wind pushes me along, singing to me like an old sad song. The tears I cry, well, they're putting out the flames. It'll be a good day when I forget your name. Oh, why can't you leave me alone? Being with you means on my own. The words you and I just don't belong. Treat me like your love dead and gone. Oh, why can't you leave me alone? Being with you means on my own. The words you and I just don't belong. Treat me like your love dead and gone. All right, well, that's enough of that. So I do get asked an awful lot why I haven't done any talent competitions or moved to Nashville, and my usual response is just that I like to be myself, and I'd like to stay true to myself, and sometimes those things change you. And that's because it goes with the story, and that's what they like to market. And so I've been a little stubborn with staying me, and I'm realizing now that maybe I should cave every so often. But I got the opportunity to open for Clint Black a few years ago. I assume that you know who Clint Black is. Great. I told my mom I was opening for him, and she goes, "For who?" And it kind of ruined it for me just a little bit. But she learned very quickly. And then we got to play a fundraiser for St. Jude Children's Hospital, and we were able to raise $80,000 putting on a free concert in Cody, Wyoming. So that was something pretty incredible to be a part of. And I also lucked out because his booking agent was there, and after my show he came up and said, "If you are interested in a career in music, give me a call next time you're in Nashville." And so, of course, I made a point to go to Nashville and give him a call. But it turns out they want you to be famous before they'll help you get famous. And so he gave me a polite no, but he also gave me a list of things that he thought would help me. And some of those were I needed to get on some songwriter rounds and play in Nashville a little bit. And then he also told me I needed to learn how to co-write, because I live in the middle of nowhere and there's nobody to write with. And so I've also never wanted to, because they're my stories and they're a piece of my heart and it's very personal. And so it took me a minute to adjust to the idea of co-writing, but after doing it, I really enjoyed it, because having a different perspective is enlightening sometimes. And so I got on one final writer's round, my last night in town, and it was with some hit songwriters from the 80s and the 90s. And so I figured if I could impress those guys, then maybe this trip wouldn't have been wasted. And so after my set, all three of them came up and said that we would like to write songs with you. And they just thought I had a neat sound and were so excited. And so we scheduled all of these co-writes for the next morning, because I'd already been gone for a couple weeks and was ready to go home. And so we left the bar about 11:30 that night. I just had a weird feeling that I needed to go back to my friend's house and get some sleep. And we got in the car, and immediately the announcements warning of that massive tornado came over the radio. And so we ended up leaving downtown within 15 minutes of that thing touching down. So I guess that weird feeling I should trust a little more often. But as you can imagine, everything was canceled the next day. Everybody wanted to be with their families, and they promised we'd reschedule at a later date. And so while I was waiting for my final cancellation call, I sat on my friend's porch and I wrote this song. And I was feeling a little emotional, because we don't have tornadoes here, at least up where I am. It's just unheard of. So this is my first tornado experience, and I really just wanted to hug my dogs, maybe hug my mother. So I was very thankful to still be okay. So I wrote this, and as soon as I got the last call, I got in my truck and I drove home as fast as possible. And I will say my most important takeaway from this experience is that no matter how old I get, I will always be my parents' little kid, little daughter. And it is very important to always call your mother. It doesn't matter if you're being considerate because it's 1 o'clock in the morning and you don't want to wake them. Call your mother. Because if you don't, you'll be like me and you'll wake up to 30 missed calls and she's going to think you're dead in a ditch somewhere. But Dad did not call one time, so I don't know what that tells you. But when I'm in Tennessee, tell me you're missing me. It's hard to see. This is where I'm supposed to be. When the storm blows through, you're not here. Makes me wanna leave when I'm in Tennessee. I guess the skies are just as blue, the grass is green, the road is true, but together we make mountains move. You said you'd wait, and so will I, but patience is running dry. I can be home by the morning light. When I'm in Tennessee, tell me you're missing me. It's hard to see. This is where I'm supposed to be. The storm blows through, you're not here. Makes me wanna leave when I'm in Tennessee. You said that I should live my dream, but I'm not sure it's what you mean when the dreaming takes me Thank you very much. Well, growing up in Buena Vista, I spent a lot of my childhood in the mountains, and I still do, hiking and exploring. But I was probably about 16 or 17 before I climbed my first 14er, which I know is crazy to believe. I've lived there my whole life, and it took me that long. But I realized I wanted to know what it was like to stand on top of a mountain. And so I convinced my dad and my younger brother that it would be a lot of fun. And it really was, but if you've ever hiked a 14er, then you know that at 12,000 feet, the air starts to get really thin, and at 13,000 feet, you stop feeling your legs. But it's really fun, and you should try it at least once. But that whole experience helped me realize that even the most beautiful things in life can be challenging, but you can do anything that you set your mind to if you just keep putting one foot in front of the other and just keep climbing. And so that kind of taught me that life is like a series of mountains, and some are like little hills that are easy to get up, and some are the 14ers that feel like they may kill you by the time you get to the top, and that's just life. And so I've been through many different mountain climbing experiences now, and one of the biggest that I've had to manage was the passing of my grandmother, because she would come to every show that was within an hour's drive and sit in the front row and make sure that everybody knew that I was her granddaughter. She kind of stole the show from me a few times. And so when she passed on, it was a challenge for me. I had to sing the next week, and I didn't know how I was going to squeak a note out because she'd been such a big part of my life. I would take at least 100 pictures every adventure I would go on so I could take them back and show her, because she was 90 years old and she did not leave the house much, but she sure loved to look at pictures and play cards. And so the only way I was able to sing my gig the next weekend was by putting 2 songs together in her memory. And one is my first song about mountains, and it was about my first experience climbing Mount Princeton. And so I paired that with her favorite gospel tune. And it didn't mend my heart, but it sure made it a little bit easier to sing. Oh, some bright morning, when this life is o'er, we'll fly away to way home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly Thank you so much. Well, I've got one more song for you, and then we're going to take a quick, probably 10 to 15 minute intermission so everybody can get up, stretch, and get a drink and some cookies. And I'll be in the back for a little bit if you'd like to come say hello. And this is probably one of my favorite songs to play. This was the title track to an album that came out a few years ago called Queen of the Mountains. And I took a lot of grief for this because everybody thought that I deemed myself a queen, which is not the case. It was a good friend of mine who we've been friends since we were 8 years old. And there hasn't been a single situation that I've gotten us into that she has not been able to get us out of. And so I figure if anybody deserves a title like that, it's that girl. So we were driving along on the ranch road one day. She manages a ranch up on Trout Creek Pass. We were putting out some feed for the cows. And we were having a great conversation. And the next thing you know, the road gave way and we were now sitting crooked in the ditch. And we realized that we had no cell service and that we were 15 miles from the ranch house. And so we could either start walking or we could start shoveling. And so 3 short hours later, we became unstuck, if you will. And that's when I decided for sure that this was her new nickname. Well, I never fit the mold too well. My face always says all the things that I can't tell. I've been living in the wilderness too long to know how to act in a place that seems so wrong. And I should be queen of the mountains by now, instead of wasting time trying to figure this world out. I'm just waiting here, counting the days till I could be queen of the mountains. I was never the belle of the ball. Well, I fit in the dress, but high heels, they make me fall. I've been running around, no shoes on my feet, 'cause walking on the dirt makes it easier to breathe. And I should be queen of the mountains by now, instead of wasting time trying to figure this world out. I'm just waiting here, counting the days till I could be queen of the mountains. Was never the girl the boys said they saw. I was a little bit too wild and a little bit too raw. Too many secrets in this heart of mine. The only me they knew was the girl on the outside. And I should be queen Thank you so much, and we'll see you in about 10 to 15 minutes. Well, forget what you think you know about me. I keep my secrets where nobody can see. I may seem simple, but my blood runs deep. Forget what you think you know about me. Kissed by the sun and burned real deep. Saw my better self never looking at me. The higher I get, the farther to fall. Sometimes I run and I find the wall. Well, forget what you think you know about me. I keep my secrets where nobody can see. I may seem simple, but my blood runs deep. Forget what you think you know about me. Well, I felt the earth move under my feet, standing steady as I could be. The sky fell down on this little town. The darkest clouds never make a sound. So forget what you think you know about me. I keep my secrets where nobody can see. I may seem simple, but my blood runs deep. Forget what you think you know about me. La da da ba da da dee da ba da da. La da 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 ba dee da. La da ba da 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 da. La da da dee da ba da da. When I get back up every time I fall, happy or sad, I feel it all. Doesn't make me weak, I'm not always strong. Doing my best just to get along. So forget what you think you know about me. I keep my secrets where nobody can see. I may seem simple, but my blood runs deep. Forget what you think you know about me. Well, I see a new me every morning. Every time I should come with a warning. The cold gets colder the older I get. I'm still here and I'm not finished yet. So forget what you think you know about me. I keep my secrets where nobody can see. I may seem simple, but my blood runs deep. Forget what you think you know about me. Forget what you think you know about me. Oh, thank you so much. So I'd called Pete a few weeks ago, and I said, is there any chance that we can change this date? Because I just got a call from the folks at Country Jam, and they want me to play on their songwriter round, which was supposed to be tonight. And so I called them, and they said, absolutely, we'll change it, we'll make whatever works for you. And so I'm super grateful. They were so flexible. But then I called the folks at Country Jam back and just said, it's not fair to these people who have put on this show and have been expecting me to come. And so I said, I can't do Thursday, but how about Friday or Saturday? And so they moved some people around and they made it happen for me. And so I'm grateful for both parties for making this work because they understand the life of a touring musician. So that's where I'm headed tomorrow, is to Country Jam. Somehow I tricked him into letting me on the stage, but I'm very excited. It'll be my first time at that event, and hopefully it won't be the last. But I'm very, very excited because Miranda Lambert's playing, and one of my favorite bands of all time, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, they play tomorrow, and so I'm very excited. And I don't know if anybody ever went to the Seven Peaks Music Festival up in Buena Vista. It was Dierks Bentley's big event. But I bought my pass solely to see the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band that year. And I've had the opportunity to open for them a few times. And And so when they were in Buena Vista, I got there extra early so I could get to the front row and make sure I had a great view. Turns out it was really easy to get to the front row of that particular concert, which I didn't understand because it's the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. And so as I was up there having a great time, they played this song, and I was so excited. So I was singing it at the top of my lungs, and I took a scan around the audience, only to realize that nobody my age had ever heard this song. And all I could think was there's been some really bad parenting going on. And so I've added this song into my shows because I think the world needs more good stories. A new man Bojangles and he danced for you. And worn out shoes, silver hair, ragged shirt and baggy pants. The old soft shoe. He jumped so high, he jumped so high. And he lightly touched down. I met him in the cell in New Orleans. I was down, down. He looked at me to be the eyes of age as he spoke right out. He talked of life, he talked of life. He laughed and slapped his leg instead. He said his name Bojangles and he danced a lick across the sound. And he grabbed his pants for a better stance, and he jumped so high. And he clicked his heels. He let go loud, he let go loud. Shook back his clothes all around. Mr. Bojangles, Jerry Jeff Walker was a fantastic storyteller, and that's one of my favorite songs. And I think those people like that inspired me to want to be a songwriter. So when I first started out in music, I didn't know a whole lot. And I was 9 years old when I fell in love with the idea of being a musician. And so for many years I played cowboy music and then classic country. And then at the ripe old age of 12, I decided that I needed to be a songwriter because it was time to share my stories with the world. Even though you don't have any stories at 12 years old, you haven't done much living yet. And so obviously I have fallen in love with sharing my stories, and some are different, some are happy, sad, some are in between. And this next song is kind of one of those somewhere in between type songs. And I'm very fortunate that my family is such a big part of my life, and they're so supportive because I could not do what I do without them. As I mentioned, they usually watch my dogs and feed my horse and take care of all my maintenance on my vehicles and help me whenever I need it. So I'm forever thankful for that. And they also taught me many great lessons. And one of those is that you have to be nice to everybody. It doesn't matter how they treat you or what's going on, but just treat everybody with kindness, because you don't know what they're going through and what's next in your life. And so I've carried that with me all these years, and I've done my very best to be nice. But in all my years of traveling, I've also realized that some people's parents did not teach them that. And I thought it sounds like a song to me. What you gonna do with yourself when there's nobody else to come and hold your hand when you cry? What you gonna do when you know you're out here on your own? Guess you'll be sleeping in your big bed of light. Oh, look at you, boy, look at you. Turns out you can lose, and now you're out of people you can use. You're in a tight spot now, and there's no getting out, 'cause you built yourself a bridge and then you burned it down. What you gonna do in this town when word gets around that you're not worth the stones that you throw? What you gonna do when the boot comes down and kicks you on the ground? Well, you're not used to the bottom, but you live there now. Oh, look at you, boy, look at you. Turns out you can lose, and now you're out of people you can use. You're in a tight spot now, and there's no getting out, 'cause you built yourself a bridge and then you burned it down. Well, don't you also get asked an awful lot how it is I got started in this business. And I had a dream when I was just a little kid, and it was a small dream because I really wanted to meet Michael Martin Murphey. I assume that most of you know who Murph is. I played a gig last night and nobody knew who he was, and it made my story much less cool. But when I was a little kid, I grew up on Murph's Cowboy Songs album, and so I just really wanted to meet Murph. And so every year for my birthday, I would ask for tickets to see Michael Martin Murphey and an evening of dancing horses. And so since that's the only thing I asked for, my parents would take us every year. And finally, they opened up the alleyway where the horses would go by for the kids to go up and see them. And here comes Murph on Miss Wildfire. And I remember this so distinctly because he had on his fringy buckskin gloves, and he reached his hand out and he touched mine, and my dream had come true. I had met Michael Martin Murphey. And little did I know that in a few short months, he would open a singing cowboy ranch in Nathrop, and he would join a board that my mother was on. And after one of their board meetings, Murph got his guitar out. And so my mom quickly called my dad and said, "You need to bring the kids in. They can sit at his feet right now and listen to him live." And so I remember walking in there and just being completely starstruck. And a friend introduced us and said, "You ought to hear this little kid sing someday." And so he invited me out to the cowboy ranch to sing "I Want to Be a Cowboy Sweetheart." And if I learned it, I could sing with him anytime I wanted out there. I just had to pick the date. And so I picked July 4th, 2001. And I remember being so excited. I had practiced this song probably 1,000 times. And we got to the venue, and I remember getting off the wagon and telling my parents, "I'll be back." And somehow I made my way past security and through all the fences, everything that's supposed to keep people like me out. I somehow got my way back there. And I walked right up to Murph and I said, "Mr. Murphy, I am here to sing my song." I wish I had that kind of confidence now. But he turned around and looked at me, and you could tell he was a little puzzled. Where did this child come from, and where are her parents? I think he must have spotted my parents in the distance and realized that I was the little girl he invited to come sing. And so we did a quick rehearsal. And the last thing I really remember about this is that he turned around one more time before we walked on stage, and he said, "Kid, this better be good." No pressure at all there. And I guess it was pretty good because he invited my family and I back anytime we wanted that summer so I could come sing. And then he invited us to West Fest in Red River, New Mexico. And so we started traveling a little bit to open shows, and it was pretty incredible for many years. And then I went off to college, and my graduation gift was being invited on my first professional tour, which was the Cowboy Christmas Tour. And fast forward a few more years, I think he realized I wasn't going anywhere. I'd worked too hard. And so he finally just said, "Well, why don't you just be my lead guitar player then?" And so now I play lead guitar in Michael Martin Murphey's Rio Grande Band. And with that being said, I guess never stop dreaming, because dreams do come true. I know that sounds like a cliche, but I know they do because I'm living mine right now. So I look back to the 9-year-old that had a little bitty dream into where I am now, and I'm so thankful. She comes down from a yellow mountain on a dark flat land. She rides on a pony she named Wildfire. A whirlwind by her side on a cold Nebraskan night. They say she died one winter when there came a killing frost, and the a blizzard, she was lost. She ran calling wildfire, calling wildfire, calling So by the dark of the moon I planted, but there came an early snow. Been a hoot owl howling outside my window now for 6 nights in a row. She's coming for me, I know, and on wildfire we're both gonna go. We'll be riding wildfire. We'll be riding wildfire. Riding wildfire. On wildfire. We're gonna ride. Gonna leave sunbursting behind. Yeah, the hard times right on out of our minds. We'll be riding Thank you so much. So a few years ago, I had started writing this song. I had the chorus down and I loved it. And then I continued to try to write this song and realized that it was about to be a very, very sad song because I was having a rough year and everything that could go wrong was going wrong. And so I decided to put it away for a little while until something big happened and the world needed a song. And so when the world shut down and everybody was at home, I realized that that was my something big that I could write about, because music was one of the most powerful tools, especially for me being at home, to reach other people. I know we did those live streams and everybody could listen from wherever they were, and it kind of brought us a little closer together, even though some people were in the other parts of the world. And so I wrote this realizing that the last few years have been one really big mountain that we've been trying to get over. And so we were all trying to get over it together, and now that we're on the other side, I would just like to dedicate this to all of you for being here tonight, because this is so much more fun than singing into your cell phone. I guess the only perk to playing at home is that you don't have to wear shoes, but when we get over the mountain, things will be fine. When we get over the mountain, there'll be plenty of time. When we get over the mountain, we won't be alone. When we get over the mountain, we'll finally be home. Our hands won't feel empty, our pockets will be rich, Well, thank you all so much for coming tonight. As we saw earlier, there's a lot of new faces, so thank you for taking a chance on me. I sure appreciate it. And if you liked what you heard tonight, please follow along on my social media pages. If you didn't really care for what you heard tonight, that's okay. You should follow along anyways. Mainly because I have two very cute border collies, and that's the majority of my posts is pictures of them. So if you don't like dogs, well, I'm not sure what to say about that. But it's been an absolute pleasure tonight. For those of you that have CD players, I have some CDs and t-shirts and hats and all that good stuff in the back. And for those of you that no longer have a CD player, my music is available on all the streaming outlets. And I'd be more than happy to visit with some of you in the back. So please come say hello and come back next time. And can we please get a big round of applause for the folks here at Society Hall for putting on such a great event and great concerts. This is my absolute favorite place to play in the state of Colorado. The sound is great, the people are great. So thank you guys so much for having me back. And I decided to leave you all tonight with the song that got me started in this business, and that is I Want to Be a Cowboy Sweetheart, which has a little bit of yodeling in it. And I know a lot of people think that it's a dying art, which I guess it is, but if you're my brothers, they say it's not a dying art, it just sounds like it. So please don't run for the door. It's only 3.5 minutes, I promise. But thank you so much for coming. I want to be a cowboy sweetheart. I want to learn to rope and ride. I want to ride o'er the plains and the deserts out west of the Great Divide. And I want to hear the coyotes singing as the sun sets in the west. I want to be a cowboy sweetheart. That's the life I love the best. I need a rodeo, I need a rodeo, oh, the rodeo, oh, the rodeo. I need a rodeo, I need a rodeo, oh, the lady, oh, the lady, oh, the rodeo. I wanna ride old Bane, going at a run. I wanna feel the wind in my face, 1,000 miles from all those city lights, going at a cowhand's pace. And I wanna billow my head and mind the sleeping herd as the moon shines down from above. I wanna strum my guitar and know the rodeo. That's the life that I love. I need a rodeo, I need a rodeo, oh, the rodeo, oh, the rodeo. I need a rodeo, I need a rodeo, oh, the lady, oh, the lady, oh, the rodeo. I wanna be a cowboy sweetheart. I wanna learn to rope and ride. I wanna ride o'er the plains and the deserts out That's one of mine. I'll play it just for you. You never turn down somebody who knows your songs, especially when they're young. Growing up, my fan base was my grandma's bridge club, if that tells you anything. Again, thank you so much. And this song makes me laugh. I wrote this after my trip to Nashville, where I met with Disney Records. And after our meeting, the president said, "I really like you, and I really like your voice, but he's like, your music is too heartfelt, and we can't market that." Which I thought was the funniest thing I'd ever heard, because my favorite songs come right out of the heart. And so, as you can imagine, I was a little salty, as they say. And so I got home, and I decided that I was going to write the most heartless song I could possibly think of. So that's a good way to send you home. Well, it's gonna be a long night up ahead for the one too many things that I've said. When the words came out, they sounded smooth till the underlying line was anything but true. Another round and a bottle down. Here we go again, my long lost friend. It's fine by me if you're my company. Just don't leave me dry. Keep pouring the whiskey. When the sweet burn gets colder and the angel on my shoulder says, "Time to slow it down." Well, I'll drown her out with a shot of Crown and see what the night has for me now. Another round and a bottle down. Here we go again, my long lost friend. It's fine by me if you're my company. Just don't leave me dry. Keep pouring the whiskey. When the night's finally over, I'm headed back to sober. The world stops spinning around. Well, I might be in misery, but when the sun goes down, I'll be with the vice I found. Another round and a bottle down. Here we go again, my long lost friend. It's fine by me if you're my company. Just don't leave me dry. Keep pouring the whiskey. Just keep pouring the whiskey. Oh, love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring. Bound my wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. It burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames, they went higher. It burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire. The taste of love is sweet when arms like ours meet. I fell for you like a child. Oh, but the fire went wild. I fell into a burning eyes wide open all the time. Keep the ends out for the ties that bind. Because you're mine, I walk the line. I find it very, very easy to be true. I find myself alone when each day gets through. Yes, I'll admit that I'm a fool for you. Because you're mine, I walk the line. Sure as night is dark and day is light, I keep you on my mind both day and night. And happiness I know proves that it's right. Because you're mine, I walk the line. And I keep a close watch on the side of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. And keep the ends out for the ties that bind. Because you're mine, I walk the line. Because you're mine, I walk the line. Thank you all so much, and have a safe trip home, and we will see you next time.